Hi, I'm Alex Goldberg. Welcome to my EWTS 2021 talk on REI and spatial computing. First, let me tell you a little bit about REI. We're a values-driven, member-owned co-op that was founded in 1938 by Lloyd and Mary Anderson. When together they with a group of friends needed to source ice axes and ropes and various other pieces of climbing equipment in order to explore the Pacific Northwest. REI stands for Recreational Equipment Incorporated. We have close to 170 stores, a incredibly successful online business, as well as we're also a top adventure travel provider domestically here in the US. REI is a really special place. I've been with the company for about 7.5 years now, and I came up with this concept recently when I was thinking about what makes this place so special, and it's what I conclude is a trifecta of awesome. The first part of that is our values and core principles and the way that we interact and communicate with each other. It's pretty amazing. I've never worked in an environment where we learn how to communicate in such an effective way. It's quite lovely. The second part of that is that a number of us are athletes. I'm a long distance cyclist. I've been passionate about the outdoors my entire life. Many of us here at the co-op are also athletes or just lovers of the outdoors. They might not be into cycling the way that I am, but maybe they just like going down for a walk to the lake on their lunch break, or going camping with their family on the weekends. The third component to this trifecta is our urge to advance our respective fields. So mine is XR, spatial computing. I have coworkers that are just as driven for machine learning, or being a Java developer, or a UI UX person. So it's really that trifecta that makes this such an amazing place to work, and it's really special. I'd like to talk about how REI got to where we're at currently in spatial computing, some of the things that we have in flight, and what we're excited about working on and delivering to you in the future. So how we got to where we're at right now, I have to chalk up to Innovation Days. Innovation Days is our quarterly hackfest. I'm a business analyst in our enterprise architecture group. I work very closely with Peter Newell, who is our head of he's a program manager for emerging technologies. Peter is responsible for Innovation Days. He and I really drive spatial computing here at the co-op. But it was Innovation Days that incubated virtually all of my projects and a number of other projects that helped us collectively here at the co-op get to where we're at now in spatial computing. Just to give you an example of some of my projects, I built a internal note system leveraging the Torch SDK, where a store manager could leave a augmented reality note in the store for somebody for an employee that shows up in the morning, instructing them to do various things. It was also a way where the SDVM, the store design visual merchandising team, could communicate to a local person on site where 4 displays would be set up. I built a digital concierge using Amazon Sumerian. Essentially, you would walk into REI, use your mobile device, scan a barcode, and it invoked the digital concierge in the form of a green vest. That's what we call our retail floor staff, because they wear a green-colored vest. And they're experts in their respective fields and passionate about the outdoors, and I created a holographic one that embodied some of that. I also did a proof of concept for a virtual forest bathing experience. So you could, back when we were working in our offices, put the headset on and turn around, you could escape to being in a rainforest. So these are just some of the projects that I worked on to bring the ball down the field here at the co-op. Also, virtual try-ons. That was an exciting one where I integrated the WANA SDK. That was a little over 3 years ago now, so time flies. Peter Newell also built a tent, a digital twin of a tent, REI's first digital twin for Innovation Days. He did it for an exorbitant amount of money, too. It's incredible. When I get to what we're working on currently, I'll be talking about digital twins and what we have in the pipeline right now. A little bit more about my role. It's to leverage the convergence of various XR and existing legacy technologies to create something new and exciting for internal use, as well as products and services for our members. Keeping my finger on the pulse of Spatial, I'm able to come up with new processes that we could operationalize, and that's really what my goal is here at the co-op. I have some notes over here, so if I glance over, that's what I'm doing. Regarding what we have currently in flight, there are really two tracks right now, spatial projects here at the co-op. There is our 3D captures of our stores and distribution centers, as well as some of our headquarter facilities, and the digital twin initiatives. Let me first talk about what we're doing with Matterport. And let me start with how we got the ball rolling with that. It was COVID, and the need to share with our members that our stores were COVID friendly. Matterport really provided a solid solution in translating what our stores look like. I'm not sure if you've seen a Matterport scan, but it's quite popular in the real estate space, and we took advantage of that originally just to inform our members of our social distancing policies and the various things we had in place for COVID. But we quickly started realizing there are lots of other beneficial uses of capturing our stores, such as working with our store design visual merchandising teams in the store planning, giving leadership a literally bird's eye view of the store in the 3D dollhouse view, which Matterport supports, is incredibly powerful for planning purposes. We also started experimenting with, for our store scans, embedding augmented reality into the Matter tags. I enabled AR for our tents. If you go to any of the store scans that we have in place for every new store that has come online since spring of 2020, about 11 of them now, Boca Raton, Florida, Billings, Montana, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, just to name a few of them, they all have AR embedded into the Matter port scan. And when you launch any of those virtual stores, if you see the light colored Matter tag, that is indicative of an AR item. And it's really neat to see the digital twin of a tent in conjunction with the Matterport session on your desktop. I find that to be a really powerful experience. And I'm going to circle back to digital twins and tents in just a second when I talk about our digital twins in flight, but more on Matterport. The ability to capture our DCs was a game changer. DCs stand for distribution centers, and we have 3 of them right now. They are huge facilities. They are many football fields long, and they're ginormous. And there's a lot going on in there. And we captured the DCs with Matterport, and we started embedding educational material inside of the scans. We use a standard operating procedure software known as Dozuki, and it has proven to be incredibly useful to embed information in key spots of the warehouse. This is able to enable us to provide that information to somebody that might be on the floor and is curious about something. And some of the equipment in there can be incredibly dangerous, and there are things flying around, pallet jacks with flashing lights, and a lot of automated racks. You really need to know what you're doing in there. And this was a way to provide that information to somebody that was on the floor and wanted to find their exact location in the scan, as well as get more information on a piece of equipment that might be in that spot. In addition to aiding people that are actually on the floor of the DC, it is a training tool for people getting trained to be on the floor for the DC. So this is a way for disseminating that information in a classroom and training programs before being on site, and also experimenting with the best way to convey that information before we start conveying it to somebody that would be on site. So all of that has been incredibly useful. Is there anything else I'm missing from Matterport? We did some neat experiments with outdoor scans and embedding product information. I will include a screen grab of that, or maybe a quick video clip for you. The other project we have in flight is our digital twins. Digital twins are duplicates of items. The first items that we started creating digital twins of were tents. Tents are very hard to make digital twins of, so it was quite a daunting task. There are many areas of various levels of transparency and meshes on the tent, as well as high reflective surfaces. You need to see the inside of the tent from being outside of it. We need to grant the user the ability to go inside and see outside of it. And from outside, you need to see completely through it. So I hope that all made sense. There's kind of three big different kinds of things viewing-wise that really need to come together, and when they don't, it's quite obvious. Also, the tents are complicated and have different materials, so all of that needs to look right. So tents are very tricky. In addition to tents, we are also creating digital twins of a number of our bikes and soon footwear. So we have a growing list of digital twins. We are hosting those in web AR, as well as through our mobile app. I'm a firm believer in web AR. I think that let me be careful, our mobile app is amazing and I love it, and there's a lot of very special things that we can do, especially for offline use where web AR wouldn't work. But I think that it's important to not have the app as a barrier for a user or prospective customer to look at a digital twin. It's pretty amazing to scan the QR code and be able to get launched right in to an AR session. It's important to mention that it was a promotion from the US Postal Service that let us bootstrap internally our first AR explorations, and I'm going to include a slide of that USPS promotion. And I think that could be this promotion could be incredibly useful for other companies looking for a leg up. And let me explain that promotion. So the USPS has an emerging technologies promotion where they offer a 1 to 3% discount for bulk mail senders. So REI sends out millions of pieces of bulk mail annually. And for us to get a 1 to 3% discount through this emerging technologies promotion is a huge leg up. And as I mentioned a second ago, it enabled us the ability to bootstrap some of the initial AR explorations. The ability to look at items in AR is really just a tip of the iceberg for us. I'm also very excited about other ways that we can leverage spatial computing for enabling you to go out into the wild and maybe have an assistant with you that could help you explore things sort of in the form of that digital concierge that I was talking about earlier. I'm also very excited about AR wayfinding. We have a project that's in the works. I revealed it about a year and a half ago on a podcast that I was on. It's called Project Topo. It is wayfinding for rock climbing. It grants the user the ability to go to a rock face or a crag, if you're familiar with rock climbing terminology, and point your mobile device at the wall that you would be ascending, and you could see climbing routes that are on that. Originally, this was done with like crumpled up pieces of papers that climbers would pass around, and we thought we would leverage augmented reality to give a boost to that. There's other things like social aspects where you can leave notes for people that might be showing up at that spot, like be careful where you park, the sheriff is a jerk, or you could highlight a hold on the wall that might be slippery under certain conditions, and that could be incredibly vital to communicate to somebody. I'm also very interested in exploring that in other activities. I think that there's a great opportunity for sea kayaking with tidal information being presented to you, as well as snowshoeing and hiking. I want to be careful in the way I describe this because it is holding a mobile device, or what I just commonly refer to as a rectangle. But soon we will have a head-worn AR, and when that time comes, which hopefully will be here within a few years, we will be able to exploring real-time activities with augmented reality. But rock climbing, the activity, and having wayfinding while you are doing it would be pretty dangerous. So that activity that I was describing again is from when you're viewing it. We are also building a 3D tent assembly viewer, again via Matterport. Hope I'm not a broken record with all this Matterport stuff. I'm just very excited with all the capabilities that it offers us. And we started doing 3D captures of tent assemblies. It's a very powerful way to understand the way you assemble a tent. The combination of being able to move around the tent in 3D at various stages of its assembly is very useful. And the for iOS right now, the ability to view that offline is also a big win, because often when you are out in the wild, you don't have a cell connection. So things like this we are very excited on. So before I go, I want to circle back to that trifecta of awesome that I was talking about earlier. I really think that between our culture of innovation and our unwavering dedication to the outdoors, I feel strongly that REI is your partner for spatial computing and the great outdoors. I also believe that what we learn here and how we learn it, due to the way that we operate internally, will be useful to the greater spatial computing community. And I will do my best to keep you abreast on our findings. Hopefully I'll be back next year and I can update you on what we've learned with our digital twins, our Matterport scans, and where we're at with some of those exciting projects that are coming down the pike. Thank you so much for tuning in, and take care. Bye-bye.